Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first Star Wars tier list I've done on the channel. The reason I'm doing this tier list is there's some new Star Wars projects coming out this year, and I wanted to kind of go over and cover what I think they will end up being placed as. So this might overhype them to myself, I might underrate them. It'll be interesting. Let me know down below, like if you agree, disagree, what you would change. Overall, if you think I have a great take like I do myself, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, let's just jump into it and get going. First, we have Star Wars: A New Hope. I'm gonna put this in A tier. I know for some people this is an S tier movie. I do think that there are a lot of really great and beautiful moments in it, such as, "But Uncle Owen, I was going to Itachi Station to pick up some power converters." You know, S tier moments like that. But overall, I do think that it was set up very well. I do think it is a very good movie, definitely an 8.5, 9 out of 10 movie. And I was very happy with it. Next, we have Empire Strikes Back. So, Empire Strikes Back is the first movie I would put in S tier. I do think that this is the most entertaining out of the original trilogy. I think it is the most well written. Areas like Hoth, with the Force Ghost coming in the first time, and things such as the Tauntaun scene, stuff like that, and how important, and how Luke had to overcome Han and Leia's love story, the incident with the siblings is not really part of that. I don't know what George Lucas is thinking still to this day. But overall, I do think that this movie was very well made, and it is my first S tier movie. I give it a 9.2 out of 10. Return of the Jedi. So for me personally, I love this movie. I think this is the most iconic movie in the terms of what it showed. I think the fact that you have the green lightsaber for the first time, you get to see Luke in the black outfit, which is very unlike the Jedi. But I think that it's an homage to Anakin, which is when he was in all black. He was one of the first Jedi that we really got to see in all black like that. So it was really interesting in that side of things. I think there's beautiful things that George Lucas did later on, such as that. As for what it was, I think things such as making Boba Fett look, cool and badass, even though really all he did was fall into a Sarlacc pit. Jabba, you had the Leia scene choking Jabba. You had Lando being such a cool character. You had the Vader Luke fight scene. You had the Palpatine just being a badass. I think overall this movie is phenomenal. I like it more than Empire Strikes Back personally. I know for some people that might be a bit of a hot take, but overall it is my second favorite movie in the whole franchise. Now we have Phantom Menace. I'm going to give this a B tier. I think Phantom Menace is actually a pretty good movie. I think some of the dialogue definitely sets it apart from the original trilogy. There's some poorly written lines in it. Littlani, like Watto, and I think there's some interesting characters. I think the real saving grace of this whole series or that whole movie is Maul, the Duel of the Fates, Obi-Wan, just the ending, the N1 starfighters, that whole scene with Anakin flying the ship, just showing how great he is, even just as like an 8-year-old kid. So I think overall it's a decent movie. I enjoy watching it, but it's definitely not my favorite in the series, and I do think it deserves a B. Next up, we have Phantom Menace, or next up we have Attack of the Clones. This one I think similar boat to Episode One. I get a little less than Episode One. I did actually have a friend and we discussed this a little while ago, and I would put Episode Two at a C before, but we kind of talked through it, and I agree that Episode Two does deserve to go up to B tier. I do think that there's some really good scenes. The Yoda Dooku scene, we get to see Yoda fight for the first time. That was sick. We get to see Dooku fight and see that he's a badass. Cuts off Anakin's arm. Beats Obi-Wan, who at the time, was the strongest one that we really got to see fight in that time. And, especially with the original trilogy, seeing how strong Obi-Wan is against Vader, I think there's some really, really interesting scenes in that time. But overall, I do think it's a little lackluster. Like I don't like the sand. It's coarse, rough, irritating, and it gets everywhere. The not just the women, but the children too, or whatever. Like I do think George Lucas set Hayden Christensen up for failure. I think Christensen did a great job, but yeah, some of the dialogue in the movie sucks. I mean, just to be honest, like some of it's really bad. I think he had to do a lot of world building for a time that we already knew a lot about, and just I do think there's a lot to be desired, left to be desired with that movie. But overall, the last like hour is very, very fun to watch and entertaining. And shout out my goat Coleman Trevor, gone too soon, you know. But overall, it's my beats here. Moving on to Revenge of the Sith. This is by far the best Star Wars movie outside of the original trilogy, or of the original nine. I think this movie is so, so good. I think every part of the bad dialogue, which I don't think there is nearly as much in this movie as there is the previous movies, it's done so beautifully. I think the Hayden and Ewan fight scenes, like the how Obi-Wan and Anakin slowly break apart, and there's like a big, big, big just breaking point where Obi-Wan's aura farming in the ship. Also just kind of showing that maybe Anakin could have been saved by Padme at that point. You know, like it the love was still there, and Obi-Wan, if he wasn't frame mogging Anakin, never thought I'd say that before. If Obi-Wan wasn't just, you know, sitting there in the ship because of Obi-Wan, you know, like it's just so, so good. It's done so well, and everything about that movie I just really enjoy. If I am told I could only watch one Star Wars movie for the rest of my life, it is 100% every time going to be Revenge of the Sith. Not just because it came out when I was growing up, but it's just done so well. Even separating it and just watching it in my own time, the video game, like everything about it, it's just done so, so well. And I was very happy to be able to witness and watch and just be a part of, I don't know, I'm saying be a part of, like, have that be a part of my childhood. Yeah, so that is an S tier movie for me. Next we have The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens, I'm gonna go, I put it above Attack of the Clones, I think. Definitely B tier. This movie actually wasn't bad. I think it's because it is a copy paste of A New Hope. It really is, you know. Maybe not just like the, maybe some parts aren't exactly like, you know, the ending is a little different, and I wasn't a big fan of the ending of it. I actually think the ending is the worst part of the whole movie. I think they set up Finn to be a Jedi, and, you know, not saying Rey is the worst character ever. I do think there are worse characters in the Star Wars universe, but I do think it, you know, they've talked about how they had no plan with her in the past, and I think it does kind of show in some of these movies. And I think just how much they advertised Finn with the lightsaber, just like what they set him up to be, like a stormtrooper turned Jedi. Mentally, I had so much more of like way higher expectations for it, and I just don't think it reached that. Which maybe that's a personal thing for me too. But overall, I do think this movie isn't that bad. Like some people hate it, but it really isn't that bad. Like but that's because it is just a copy paste of A New Hope. Like there wasn't anything super out of the ordinary that they did, minus, you know, seeing the crushed Kyber crystal for the first time in action, you know, with Kylo's lightsaber. I think Kylo in this movie was very actually entertaining. You know, he just throws a fit the whole time, but I actually think I think Adam Driver did a very good job with that with Kylo, and I do think that it was very entertaining overall. Um, Again, by far not the worst movie I've ever seen. Definitely not the worst Star Wars movie, and definitely a little above average, I would say. So I'm gonna give that in the B tier. Next, we have The Last Jedi. So this is a bit of a love or hate relationship with this movie, I feel like, throughout the fan base. So me personally, I absolutely do not enjoy it. I think, I mean, we could start with just the most obvious scene. I think the Leia, you know, Mary Poppins scene. It's just, I feel like it's just lazy, you know? Like I feel like the writing in that sense is very lazy. I do think that they could have done so much more. The whole Poe Dameron storyline was fine, you know. Finn and Rose, I'm sorry. I think Rose, again, I think Rose is a similar situation to Anakin where the writers just did a terrible job. Like I don't know why you would fire a director and hire a new one for a trilogy, especially, and then rehire him back, you know. Like I just think there was no planning going into this. Um I and I'm not even to say that they should have done George Lucas's trilogy, sequel trilogy. I think they could have done a lot more, but overall I think it was kind of it was a big miss. Definitely one of my least favorite movies in the franchise. Probably my least favorite movie in the franchise of like the main nine, by far. So I'm gonna give that D tier. I won't say too much else about it, but definitely could have been better. I'm actually going to do episode 9 next. So episode 9, I don't think it was that bad. I definitely didn't enjoy it. Um, I do think that J.J. Abrams did an okay job saving it, but I think 9 was as bad as it was because of how bad 8 was. You know, they couldn't really do much. They had to figure something out. They were told that, you know, Rey is going to be the daughter of Palpatine, and that's what they decided on. You know, they went back and forth. They've talked about it a couple times. Daisy Ridley's talked about it a couple times. They originally wanted to do Daughter of Obi-Wan. They wanted to do, um, you know, Descendants of Luke or whatever. There was a lot of ideas going. Sorry, man. Blue screen fell. There's a lot of ideas going through their mind, and I just think when you're writing like for such a big franchise, you need to have some plan set in place for the character. And I do think it showed that they definitely got different directors. They went different routes and changed their mind a bunch. Not to say that people can't do that. Like that's the fun with creativity things and creative creative outlets like this. You're gonna have moments like that, right? But I do think they did not do the greatest job of setting that up for success. I think that the actors were kind of given, you know, expected to make a beautiful, you know, they're expected to make the Mona Lisa out of crap, right? They were given poop, crap, and diarrhea, and they were told to paint the Mona Lisa. It's like, it's not going to happen. It really isn't going to happen. But out of all the Star Wars movies, I think it's the second worst. I didn't hate myself when I watched it, you know? I get to with 8, but um, yeah, they just could have done a lot more. For the final movie, and they completely retcon the purpose of Anakin being the chosen one and then having Rey basically be the chosen one. Um, the whole storyline of Anakin being the chosen one is just kind of pointless with the start of this movie. So, you know, the like it just kind of sounds like someone with ADHD telling a story. That's the best way I can say this movie. It's someone with ADHD telling a story. You know, it's like, yeah, so we're gonna go here, and oh, they got here because somehow Palpatine returned, and yeah, so anyway, they went to Exegol. You know, like I'm saying, like it doesn't really work. I think they could have done a lot better, but that's because J.J. Abrams was given Episode 8 in between. So yeah, I would give it a C tier. Moving on to Rogue One. Rogue One actually got me back in love with Star Wars. This movie alone was so good. I'm not putting it here, by the way. It's gonna go up here. Rogue One is so good. I think I would put Revenge of the Sith above Rogue One. I watched Rogue One the other day. Again, just it's so good. And I've watched Episode 3 recently again too, and I just think Episode 3 just does a little bit more for me. Now, do I think that that means the writing's better? Do I think that that means overall it's a better movie? Not necessarily. I think for me personally, I would rather watch Episode 3 than Rogue One. But especially with Andor, it's really hard to put Rogue One not one, if that makes sense. Without Andor, I do think it's maybe even below Return of the Jedi for me. I think it's the best written movie, and I think they set the expectations for 7, 8, 9 very high because of Rogue One. But yeah, I think it's a beautiful movie. Jyn Erso's a cool character. Cassian Andor, especially with Andor, the series, so good, so good, such a good character. You know, getting to see a lot more. We get Chopper live action as well. You know, um, it was a good time, and I was very happy to be able to witness it. So yeah, it's my second favorite movie. I'm gonna put in this tier. Moving on to Solo. This movie I actually really liked. Like I really had a good time. I remember I this and Rogue One I watched during COVID for the first time, and um, actually sorry, Rogue One I watched way before, and then I watched during COVID for the first time. But Solo I really liked. I remember eating a bowl of rice and put butter and pepper on it. And by the way, that rice I can remember to this day. That was the best. This movie, I made the best rice I've ever made in my life. Just jasmine rice. It was so good. But Solo was fun. I really liked it, especially the ending with Maul. I thought that was done really well with um, Ray Parker coming back. Ray Park, whatever. I can't remember his name now, but the guy who did live action Maul in episode 1, like he came back. I thought it was really good, and they had Sam Witwer doing the voice and everything. But Solo, I think he was cast well. I think Childish Gambino, Donald Glover did a great job as Lando, and that's something I'm really excited for too. I think he just turned in the script for Lando, so I think L3 was a great character. Getting to see how Han got the Falcon and how that all worked out. Yeah, it just was done very, very, very well. Kira also, again, I know I said it already, but very cool character. And then also with Outlaws, getting to see Kira again, I think it was done very well. So yeah, I'm gonna have that in B tier. And then we have the Clone Wars movie. It's kind of mid. I don't really have much to say about it. It was okay. I remember liking it a lot more when I was younger. I rewatched it a couple weeks ago, and it was just okay, you know. Next, moving on to Clone Wars, a TV show. Um, yeah, that is the best piece of Star Wars content I have witnessed. I don't even know what to say. I don't think there's that many lows of it. I think the worst part was the sisters arc in season 7. The um but yeah, the sister arc of season 7 is just kind of the lowest point for me. And I do think the beginning, I don't mind it as much as some people say it's really hard to get through the first season, but I didn't mind it. It actually got me hooked back into it again. The Mandalorian I really liked, and started watching Clone Wars, and episode 1 had me hooked. So I actually really like Clone Wars. I think it's the most well written part of it. I think season 4, 5, 6, and 7 are done so well. Season 7, episodes 1 through 4, and then 8 through 12. Episode 11 and episode 12. Oh my god. I cannot say the ending of episode 12 genuinely might be the best thing I've ever watched in television, like of any form. Maybe minus Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is really good, but overall, like, it's so good. I remember just being pissed that there was nothing left after that movie, or after that episode. So, um, yeah, overall, I really liked it. I'm gonna put it as my favorite piece of Star Wars content. Next, we have Skeleton Crew. Um, I'm gonna make some adjustments. I think I'm gonna move Phantom Menace up to A. Um, there's a lot of B tier in this. I feel like there's a lot of things that are fun. I thought this was fun to watch. I watched this with one of my friends, and the whole time I really really liked it. Like, it was a really fun Star Wars like Goonies adventure. I really enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it. I was excited to watch the next episode. I think characters like Neil's probably a top 10 character in Star Wars for me. I think Neil is really cool. Um, I don't think there's that many other characters in that show that really like stood out to me as much as Neil. I think Neil is really cool. Um, the guy that plays Steve Urkel, getting to play a villain in that, also really cool. Just like Easter egg type thing. Um, yeah, overall, it was cool to see a different part of the world that we didn't really get to bear witness to prior to like that show. Like, there's a lot of people that's their first look at the Outer Rim, really. So that was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Not counting Tatooine, obviously, but yeah, overall, I'm gonna give it the end of B tier. Like, I'd watch it maybe one more time again. I probably won't go out of my way to watch it again though, but it was really fun. Next we have Andor. Oh my god. Yeah, this is going here. And I'm telling you, Andor and Clone Wars, that much. That much for me. And I do think out of every live action thing, Andor is the best thing I've watched. The reason it's not number one for me, which a lot of people it is, but not for me, is purely just because it takes a couple episodes each season to get rolling, which I feel like Clone Wars to me didn't. You know, like, Clone Wars is constantly rolling. They world build and story tell at the same time very well in Clone Wars, whereas Andor, I think they had to do a lot of world building, which, to be fair, we didn't know a lot about the time, so I'll give them that. But then they just took it and ran, and I won't spoil, a whole lot of that ending, but that might be that alone. Like, the last 4 episodes of season 2, yeah, I don't have words. I literally sat there with my mouth open. I finally watched that this year for the first time, and I'm so thankful I did, because I'm surprised I waited that long. I really liked season 1. I just couldn't get around to watching season 2 for some reason. So yeah, by far my second favorite Star Wars project that there is. S tier for sure. Moving on to Star Wars Rebels. Rebels, I'm gonna put it below Empire Strikes Back. Just kidding, I lied. So I'm gonna actually put it below. I'm gonna put it below Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it there. I was thinking about down here, but I'm gonna keep it there. I think Star Wars Rebels is a sleeper for me. No, you know what? I'm putting it here. It is S tier for sure. Okay, final answer. I'm keeping it there. So it is a sleeper for me. I do think that a lot of people say it is S tier. People again, I feel like it's a very love hate, but it was meant for kids. And then after 2 seasons, again, Dave Filoni realized I'm making another show for adults, so or like teenagers to adults. So I think they did a very good job. I think Ezra Bridger, Caleb Doom, Kanan Jarrus, Maul, Harrison Dula, Chopper is my favorite droid by far. Chopper, so dope. I think Chopper so well done. Zeb, um, Sabine, getting to look more at the Mandalorians. Like it's just done so well. I think there's so many parts of it that are so memorable, like the dire wolves or the wolves. Sorry, um, the space squids. I can't think of their name. Um, yeah, Thrawn. I mean, can we just appreciate that we actually got Thrawn of some sort, which I think a lot of people are really hoping for Thrawn, and they have Dave Filoni, so they're gonna get. And it's Thrawn. It's not like a mellowed out version of him. No, it's the same badass that we knew from Legends. From the books and the Heir to the Empire series. So, um, yeah, Rebels is amazing. I love it. I will watch it again plenty of times. Yeah, it's going in S tier. Next, we have Ahsoka. So Ahsoka, I'm putting in A tier. Some people might think that might be a little high, but for me, I think minus the surviving the lightsaber wound, I don't think there's that many lows in it. I think that the villains are really cool. I can't think of his name, but Balin Skull. Balin Skull is one of my favorite villains to ever touch. He's kind of an anti-hero. It's not really even a villain. You know what I'm saying? He's one of my favorite anti-heroes in Star Wars. It looks like you're getting a Mortis thing with Anakin and Ahsoka and maybe Abeloth. I think it'll be cool. I've heard rumors that apparently Natalie Portman is going to be casted again, so I don't know if they're going to do flashbacks or what they're doing, but apparently Natalie Portman might be coming back, which would be very, very, very interesting if so. But we'll see. Um, but yeah, Ahsoka was really fun. I think it's Rosario Dawson does a great job playing an older Ahsoka. Ahsoka is my second favorite Star Wars character behind Luke. Um, she's so well written, and Dave Filoni, hats off, bravo. You've really done a great job making a character go from someone that is the most annoying thing to ever touch foot in Star Wars to the one of the best written characters with the most entertaining story arcs. So, yeah, Ahsoka's going in A tier. Next, we have Tales of the Jedi. Tales of the Jedi is again um, beautiful. I think just the Ahsoka arc alone would be enough to put it in S tier, like here. But I think with the Dooku side of things, you and Yaddle and everything there, it needs to be there. I'm sorry, but the scene of Anakin training Ahsoka and then flashing forward to episode 11 of the Clone Wars of season 7 of the Clone Wars, beautiful, perfect. Like every single part of Tales of the Jedi is just executed to perfection, and I genuinely could not ask for anything better for 60 minutes of my time. That was so good. I loved every second of it. I don't have much else to say. It's going in S tier. Next, we have Tales of the Empire. I think this is fun. I don't think it was as good as Tales of the Jedi. I do think it was very, very good though. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I do think that there might have been some cool characters. I'm not a huge fan of. I can't think of the Night Sister's name. Um, I can't think of her name, but I'm not a huge fan of her. Like her character that much. I think the actress that plays her is very good. I do think that that character is interesting for sure, but I guess maybe just Tales of the Empire wasn't my favorite. It was cool to see Grievous again and all that whole time, but overall, I do think that Tales of the Jedi was a lot better. Um, but Barriss Offee, Very, very cool arc. I think that alone would put it in A tier for me. So Barasafi's Inquisitor arc is very cool. So I'm gonna put that A tier. Next we have Tales of the Underworld. Underworld. I don't know why I said it like that. Um, I might put this B tier. I might put this like mid B tier. Oh no, it's better than Tales of the Empire. I think Tales of the Underworld is very well done. I think seeing Cad Bane is very interesting. I think Asajj Ventress though. Oh my god, what a cool character, and especially with Bad Batch. Like Asajj Ventress is so cool. Um, Dooku's secret Padawan, and just how good she was, what she turned around to become, kind of like a bounty hunter esque. The yellow lightsaber, we don't really know what she did to get it. Maybe there's something that we do know and I just haven't read it yet. But um, yeah, it's so well done. Very fun to watch. But yeah, I'm gonna put that in A tier. Next we have Book of Boba Fett. I'm gonna put the C tier. To be honest, it might be D tier, but that Mando episode. There's two Mando episodes in this. The one with Luke. Oh my god, that alone, that episode. If it was just that episode, up here. But yeah, I mean the why'd they do that spin? You know the spin I'm talking about. Like it's the most pointless thing I've ever seen. The bikers alone ruined almost this whole thing for me. Black Chrysanthemum, seeing him was cool. Um, Trandoshans and how that all works, and the different syndicates, and I think they ruined Boba's character a little bit. Like I feel like Boba's so much more than that, and I get he's old and went through a lot, but like a Bantha. I don't even mind the Tusken Raiders sign. Like the Tusken Raider thing, I think is interesting. He had to survive and learn to live with them and gain their respect because he is a badass, you know. But I think that's fine. I don't think we also got to see a more human side to the Tusken Raiders, which I think was also very interesting. But I just think the second they got into Mos Eisley, it was just no. Like they could have done so much more. So overall, C tier. Shout out Mando and Cad Bane for carrying it, and yeah. So yeah, the Acolytes. I'm not gonna say much about it. I couldn't finish it. It was bad. Like it really was. I think there's some cool scenes, like the bleeding of the crystal. I do kind of like how they did that. I think that was a lot more realistic. Um, I do think I think my best criticism I can make for this is if you are going to make a Star Wars project, you need to understand Star Wars. And I think the director for this made it very clear that the she was trying to blame the toxic masculinity of Star Wars, which I get. There are a lot of people in Star Wars, like in the Star Wars fan base, that are like that, and I understand that. But I think when it's things like retconning a species lifespan by over 150 years, or like again, completely. This is the second time we've had people completely defeat the whole purpose of Anakin with the being created by the Force thing. Um, I, it just there's a lot of things that could have been done better. I think the fourth episode where they finally kill all those characters, very cool. I think the villain was a cool. I think he was well done. Um, and the Plagueis thing at the end, also cool. But there's just it just wasn't very well written, to be honest. I think that's my main thing. Like if I can't finish something, it's normally just because it's really bad really bad. And I know some people really liked it, and that's good. And I wish I had that feeling about that. I think that was probably the most excited I have been for a Star Wars project in a little while, and I didn't really set up any expectations though because of Book of Boba Fett, and yeah, I couldn't do it. My goal is to finish it at some point here soon, and maybe that changes. Maybe I push it up a little bit, but overall, I couldn't do it, and I'm really looking forward to maybe hearing a bit more about Plagueis and seeing if they do anything with that. So yeah, moving on to the Obi-Wan show. I think this was a little better than Book of Boba Fett. I don't think it was as good as Skeleton Crew. I would watch it again for the sake of the Anakin Obi-Wan scenes. I do think there's some very no. You know what? I think it's better than Skeleton Crew. The Anakin Vader's or the Vader Obi-Wan scenes in the show are very good. I think Reva, I can't think of her name right now. Sorry. She's an okay character. I think there's some very high moments for her, and I think there's some very low moments for her. Um, I think the fifth brother and the Grand Inquisitor were done very well. I think they were good parts. I think Lars was played very well. I think that Peru was played very well. Um, yeah, I just Uncle Owen and Aunt Peru. Sorry, yeah, I just there's just some okay moments in that, and there's some really high highs and some really low lows. And overall, I enjoyed it. I really liked the ending to it. I think they did a good job, but I don't know. I probably would. I'm gonna put it back to C tier. I think the more I think about it, I don't think the high of it really does kind of want to make me push it up. But yeah, Anakin's gone like that. That's very good writing there. But yeah, overall they could have done more. I was expecting a lot more for one of the best characters in Star Wars. So yeah, I'm gonna have a C tier. Moving on to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, I think this is gonna be a low A tier movie. I think this will be fun to watch. I think this will be very entertaining. Um, or is this all of the Mandalorian? It looks like it might be all the Mandalorian. They don't have anything else. So I'm just gonna go based off that. I'm gonna put this above Ahsoka. So I think season 3 was kind of the lowest low of Mandalorian. I do think there's some very good parts of it though, but I think 1 and 2 were definitely just a little bit better in my opinion. Season 1 was very good. Season 2, the ending, I teared up a little bit. I can't lie, that was sick. Um, Overall, I've been witness to worse things for sure, such as the 2 and D tier. But yeah, I think the Mandalorian Grogu movie will be fun. I think it'll be just a fun movie. I'm not really going in with any expectations. I'm expecting some humor because Grogu has some humor to him. So, um, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go watch Star Wars in theaters again, and to witness something new, Star Wars wise in theaters. So, I'm gonna have that A tier with just no expectations going forward. So, moving on to Bad Batch. Bad Batch was very good. Bad Batch, very good. Definitely A tier. I think season 1 and season 2. I don't remember if it's 2 or 3 seasons, but um, all of the characters. Crosshair is very good. Omega, very good character. Hunter, Echo, Tick, Rika, Crosshair. Like I just think it's a cute show. Ventress showing up at the end was force sensitive. Yeah, just showing how cool clones are, and especially Bad Batch. I don't really know what else to say about it. It was good. It was fun. Very well written. Some cool Empire moments in it. So, um, yeah. Overall, I'm gonna give that to the A tier. Young Jedi I've not seen. I've heard good things about it. Resistance, by far the worst Star Wars project I've ever witnessed. I got through 5 episodes of the first season and skipped the second and got through two. Um, yeah, I bad. That's all I can say is bad. Star Wars Visions, it's a cool project. It's not all of it's for me. I do think there's some very good moments, like um, the first few. There's some cool fights in it, and there's one with an old guy and a master and apprentice, and that kind of reminds me of the guy from Heir to the Empire, um, on that mountainous world that they go to. So I think that was very good. Yeah, again, it's not all for me. I think there's some very highs and visions, but it's definitely meant for people that are more into anime than I am, and I like anime, but it's kind of I'm kind of specific with it. So overall, it was fun to watch. I'm glad they're doing stuff like that still. I hope they keep doing it, and yeah, I'm gonna put the C2. Next, we have Rebuild the Galaxy. This was fun. I think it's a fun movie. I don't think it's really that serious. Sorry. Um, I don't think it's really that serious, you know, to like I'm not gonna take it as like a oh my god, this is a mainline Star Wars movie. It's fun, you know, it's a fun little Lego movie. It does a really good job of showing different things. A lot of the Lego sets that came from it are cool. It was fun. Gave me a couple chuckles throughout it, so I'm gonna go with B tier. And next we have Maul Shadow Lord. I think this is going to be high A tier. So just by the trailers, which I do have high expectations for this because Maul is a cool character. They're having Sam Witwer back. They're having Dave Filoni. They're having Dave Filoni work on it. Sam Witwer. You know, those two nerds alone should be able to write a good enough Star Wars show. Just everyone else they're having work on it. It should be very good, and I'm really excited for what it could be. Um, Overall, yeah, I think this is my list. I don't think it's really anything I would change. Let me look through here. Yeah. But yeah, overall, my favorite project of Star Wars is the Clone Wars. I think the Clone Wars is beautifully done. I want to give applause to George Lucas and Dave Filoni for that, and everyone else that worked on it. Sam Witwer for the voice acting. Everyone else who worked on that, you know, just it's so good, and I'm very thankful to be excited about Star Wars things again. Now that we have all this new stuff coming out, and I look forward to the Ahsoka season 2 in the end of the year. Towards the end of the year, I look forward to Maul of Shadow Lords coming out in like a week from today, I think, and then we also have Mandalorian Grogu in May. So yeah, if you guys like or dislike anything I said, or disagree with anything I said, or agree with anything I said, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. If you are new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe. I am trying to upload at least one video every month for the year 2026. I want to keep going strong. I'm hoping I can sneak this in by March 1st or March 31st. I'm working on a Halo video right now that's taking a little longer than I would like. Just have high expectations for that one for myself. So, yeah, just if you guys want to just be patient with that, just understand I'm trying my best there. Otherwise, I got more videos coming out. I do have some other links below. I have a new Instagram I'm making where I'm actually going to be running the half marathon here in the city I'm at. So I'm going to be working on conditioning for that. And I don't know if you can tell, maybe not, but I am a little out of shape. So, um, like 238 pounds, running a half marathon, and I'm probably like 35% body fat, something like that, 34. So just bear with me. I'm gonna have a link to that down below. I'm gonna start uploading on that. I have a second channel which I do Cobblemon, Pokemon, Minecraft, or just a couple other smaller games like that. Not that Minecraft's a small game or Pokemon's a small game. You know what I'm saying? A couple other games like that. I'll be uploading stuff there. Otherwise, I also have a Twitch where I'll be streaming some of that stuff I just mentioned before, which I'll link down below as well. Please go check out those and subscribe or follow or whatever you can do for those. I'm trying to be a bit more consistent. Otherwise, yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please leave a comment if you like the video, comment if you have any advice or anything you want to see in the future. Please feel free to answer some of the polls I'm going to start uploading. Otherwise, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace out, and I will talk to you later. Have a great April.